Namaste. Welcome everyone. I'm Julia. Today we're doing a little bit more of a movement energetic prenatal class. So if you're feeling like you've got some energy, you'd like to maybe build a little bit of strength and move, this is the class for you. Enjoy. We'll start seated. Having a bolster at hand will be useful in this practice, especially if you are starting to get a little bit larger through the belly for when we do some up dogs. But it's not necessary. If you have a large pillow or something like that, you may use it as well. Feel free to start in a cross-legged seated position. I'm just showing an option that you can use today. So come to a comfortable seated position, whether it's on your knees or cross-legged. Just taking a moment, maybe rocking a little forward and back, maybe a bit side to side, and just notice how it feels. Start to bring your awareness down into your pelvis, maybe a few circles. Maybe circling the other direction if that's working for you. And then just coming to a place of stillness. Rolling out your shoulders so that they're able to relax. Maybe closing your eyes. And if you like, perhaps placing one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, maybe two hands on your belly. And just taking a few moments to breathe here before we get moving, checking in, knowing that you're taking this next amount of time for yourself and for your baby. Hello babies, welcome babies. Welcome mamas. So just starting to lengthen your breath a little bit if it's been fairly shallow today. Noticing that life force as it enters and exits your lungs. Now from here, just drop your chin into your chest. As you inhale, slowly roll your head over to the right side. And then exhale to drop your chin back into your chest. You can do this with your eyes open or closed. Inhaling to the other side. And exhale through. Slowly bringing your chin back to center. You can lift your head, maybe open your eyes, start to roll out your shoulders again here. And just getting that blood pumping, loosening up the spine a little bit, we'll go into a twist. You can either place your hands on top of your shoulders or make fists with your hands, thumbs underneath your fingers at about chest level, elbows out to the side. You might stay looking forward as we inhale to one side, exhale to the other, or you might start to turn your head with that twist, only if you don't feel any kind of dizziness or vertigo. And just working with your breath. Inhale, exhale. So working to loosen up that thoracic spine, the upper part of the body. You can do this at any pace. You might take it a lot slower, depending on how you're feeling today and how the breath work feels for you today. And we'll just do a couple more of those. And then slowly come back to center. We'll shake it out. Raising your right arm up overhead, take a big inhale, stretch tall, exhale, gently bend off to the side. You can let your head drop a little deeper, maybe reach a little farther with your fingertips, really extending through that side of your body. And then inhale to come back up, exhale, let that arm float down. Other side, big inhale, lengthening through the spine, exhale, arching over. So as you practice today, just noticing maybe how you can think about baby helping you in your practice, joining you in your practice as you move, as you get the blood flowing. Inhaling back up, exhaling your hand down. We'll come to all fours from here. You can remove the bolster or block if you were sitting on one. Place it off to the side. And just moving through a simple cat and cow. So inhaling to open the chest. Exhale to round the back. Tuck your tailbone under, arching as much as is possible right now, depending on how large your belly is. So big inhale, lift your tailbone. Exhale, let the head drop down. We'll do this 2 more times. It can feel good to flutter the lips. You can do that at any time in your exhales. Very handy practice during labor, if you like that one. Coming to a stiller, neutral spine. Try to engage the low abdominals as if you're hugging baby up towards your spine here. Feel the pelvic floor engaging as well, that gentle tug upwards and inwards. Feel the length through your spine, so the top of your head is reaching away from your tail. Working a little bit with our balance from here. Start to extend your right leg out behind you. Toes may stay down on the floor, or you might lift them a little bit higher off the mat. You can flex your foot or point through your toes, whatever feels best for you. If it feels okay, then we're lifting the opposite arm up now, reaching long. Really engage those back glutes. So the back side of your body is starting to work, starting to strengthen. Try to keep feeling that hugging in sensation of hugging baby in towards your spine to help support your low back. Maybe lift a little higher with the arm and the leg, and then exhale, we'll lower that hand, lower that knee. Preparing to go to the other side, starting with the leg, just reaching back. Toes stay down, shoulders sliding away from the ears so your neck stays long. Staying connected with your breath. If you lift that back leg, feel the glutes and the hamstrings working to help lift. You might point your toes or you might flex your foot. When you're ready, opposite arm lifts. Reaching here, extending out from your heel or your toes to your fingertips, from the crown of your head to your tailbone. So everything is long, reaching in both directions. You're still breathing, finding that balance. Anything on our wrists can always be done on your forearms or on fists as well, depending on how those wrists are feeling. Another inhale to lift, exhale to lower. We'll go back to the first side, so reaching out through that back leg. Front arm extends if you're going there. And then if you like, you might bend that back leg. Flex the foot so you're pressing up through your heel and then start to drive that heel upwards. We'll just go for 3, 2, and 1. And then reaching long. Lower the hand, lower the knee. And we'll go to the other side, reaching out. Finding your balance. Shoulder blades still gently gliding down your back. Flexing at the back knee, flexing at the back foot, and then driving up for 3, 2, 1. Finding your balance as you extend, lowering your hand, lowering your knee. We'll take our first child's pose, knees nice and wide, just gently sinking those hips back, maybe dropping your head downwards a little bit. You might even use that bolster here to rest your forearms or your head on. Breathing just for a couple of breaths here. We'll all use that bolster or pillow coming up here. And we'll place it a little closer to our knees. We're going to practice our upward facing dog for as we start to flow a little more. What we're doing is we're starting to move forward. So our belly is past the bolster and our hips are on the bolster here. You might have your toes tucked under or feet flat, doesn't matter. Palms are on the mat here and you're just lifting, opening. So allowing for a little bit of a back bend, but staying supported through the hips and allowing for some space for your belly. If you're quite far along, this might not feel comfortable for you. You might stay in more of an all fours position or a little bit of a plank on your knees. So just breathing here, roll your shoulders open, press the top of your head up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, let's exhale to look over the left shoulder. Inhale to come back to center and exhale over the right shoulder. Keeping your jaw as relaxed as you can, coming back through center. And we'll go into a downward facing dog from here. So tucking your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Take as much time as you need here. You might be walking out your knees, walking out the legs, maybe swaying your hips a little bit side to side. Make sure your fingers are spread wide so you've got lots of support here. Extra weight in the body at this time. Roll those shoulders open again, supporting yourself on the back. Find your breath. Maybe find a little bit of stillness, lifting up through the tail and just noticing how it feels here. A little bit of the weight out of your pelvis. Belly, maybe checking in again with baby. Notice how you're feeling there. Beautiful. Now looking towards our hands, we'll just start to walk our feet forward. You may take a fairly wide stance. I'm going to step over the bolster, coming to the front, and then hands on our knees. We'll just come into a bit of a squat here. You might take your knees quite far, depending on how you feel. We're going to inhale to lift our chest, and then just exhale to round your spine. Inhale to lift and extend. Exhale to round. Inhale one last time, lifting, and then exhale to stand up tall. We'll bring both arms up overhead. Grab onto one wrist, doesn't matter which one, and exhale, gently arch to the side. Feel your chest opening. You might even look up underneath that armpit. Staying strong through your feet, strong through your legs, supporting that standing position. One more breath here, slowly bringing yourself back up. And then just shaking out the hands for a moment. We'll switch sides, big inhale, reach up, and exhale, just starting to open up to the side body even more. Connecting through both feet, nice and strong. Maybe shifting your weight back a little bit into your heels, supporting the body by engaging the glutes, the backside of the legs. Inhale, let's exhale, come all the way up. And we're driving forward into a forward bend from here. Exhale all the way down. Plant your hands on the mat, step your right foot back. Coming first into a high lunge here. So you might have your hands off to the side a little bit again, depending on where you are in your pregnancy. Just taking a moment. Make sure those toes are spread on the front foot. Toes are spread on the back foot and the back leg is nice and active. Try to feel the top of your head reaching away from that back heel. Inhaling here. And then preparing to move to a warrior two from here. You might walk your hands up on your front leg, pivot on the ball of your back foot, dropping that heel down, and then start to sink into that front left knee. Opening up through the front of the hips, but strengthening through the legs at the same time. Bring your arms out to the side, reaching long through your fingertips, forward and back. And then we'll move into an exalted warrior here. So top arm reaches up, back hand reaches down towards that back leg, firm back thigh. Maybe bending a little deeper into your front knee. Option here would be hand on the belly for a bit of support. And then maybe starting to lean a little deeper into it. Again, never going too far here while we're pregnant, knowing that our muscles are stretching out with relaxin, but in particular, the ligaments are, so wanting to protect them as well. Inhale here, exhale back to warrior two, arms reach long. Start to drive forward, and we're going to take the bottom elbow, that left elbow down to the left thigh. Top arm can reach up towards the ceiling, or again, hold on to your belly for some support. Into our side angle pose. Staying connected through the feet, through those front toes, through the balls of the feet, through the heel, and through the outer edge of the back foot. You might start to reach that top arm out and overhead a little bit longer in that straight long line. Maybe sink a little deeper. One more inhale here. And then exhale, come all the way back down into that high lunge, pivoting on the ball of the back foot, lifting the back heel. Lengthening and strengthening through the legs. And then we're stepping our front foot back, coming onto our knees, moving into our upward facing dog. Hips come down onto the bolster. Roll those shoulders open. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, pour yourself back into downward facing dog. Taking the time as you need, taking a child's pose anytime as you need. Checking back in with baby, checking in, noticing how you're feeling. A little bit warmer through this practice today. One more inhale. And then looking forward between your hands. This time we'll step the other foot forward. Coming into our high lunge now on the other side. So again, depending where your belly is. This can be a place where you could use blocks as well to support your hands. So you're a little higher, propped up. Now finding that breath as best you can. Finding length through the neck. Softness around the face, in particular around the jaw. As things get tougher, remembering that we need to loosen up through this area and able to connect and loosen up through the pelvic floor when it comes to the birthing process. So one more breath here, preparing to move to warrior two on the other side. When you're ready, walking yourself up. And then sinking yourself in again. Really pressing, connecting through those feet. Try to feel your quads engage. That back leg is strong and straight. As much as you can, try to feel that hugging in of baby towards your spine for some support here. Maybe even placing your hands on baby for a little bit of support, especially for the low back. Sinking a bit deeper. Notice if your mind is wandering, try to bring it back to your breath. Turn that front hand up towards the ceiling, lift it up, drop the back hand down, and then sink a little bit deeper into that lunge. Staying connected, keeping anything out of the neck if you can, out of the shoulders. One more inhale here, exhale through warrior two, and then starting to reach forward into our side angle, so the elbow drops down to your thigh. Keeping the hips open, keeping connected and strong there. And then when you're ready, either holding baby, maybe arm up overhead. Checking that connection, checking your breath. And if you'd like, reaching that top arm up overhead. Nice and long through the side. Relaxed around the face. Breathing for you and breathing for baby. One more inhale here. Let's exhale slowly to bring it all the way down. High lunge one more time. And then moving back again, you can bring that back knee down. Coming again into our upward facing dog. So our modified chaturanga here. Opening through the shoulders. Pressing up to the top of your head. Rather than lifting too much with the chin, think about the back of your neck lengthening. Opening and stretching the front of the body, because for most of us, there'll still be some room to grow. So just opening up the fascia, the skin, the muscles here. And one more inhale. Exhale, let's move into a wide-legged child's pose from here. You may keep your arms on the bolster. You might rest your forehead. And an option tonight would be to put your hands together, hands up over your head. So you're bending at the elbows and you find a little bit of a tricep stretch there through the back of the arms. Alternatives, of course, could be without the bolster or arms just hanging out in front. Try to breathe deeply into your back. And feel your hips just opening and sinking. Slowly lowering your hands if they're above your head. Coming back forward into downward facing dog. Tuck those toes under, lift your hips up. Maybe walk it out one more time. One more series here. When you're ready, looking between your hands, we'll step our left foot forward. High lunge for just a moment here. Again, sinking in, connecting through those feet, feeling strong. You can help yourself up, and we'll move to straight legs on both sides. So Trikonasana, our triangle pose. Feeling solid, kneecaps lifting to engage the quads. Placing our hands on our hips or maybe on baby. Just start to shift your hips backwards. Start to feel the front side of your body moving forward. Maybe that front arm reaching out in front of you. You can let it drop down to your leg. Start to turn your chest, turn baby, turn your hips, and then maybe reach that top arm up overhead. Or maybe keep the hand on baby here. Again, just remembering that we won't go as deep as we normally do when we're not pregnant, but still allowing for that stretch through the inner groin area, through the legs, through the hips, strengthening the back and the core. If there's any kind of pain anytime in your knee, you can always, of course, bend your knee as well to ease off there. Still get a stretch through the hamstrings. One more breath here, and then slowly bring yourself back up. We'll turn both of our feet now, toes angled out to the side, and just sinking into our goddess squat. So maybe moving a little bit side to side here. Just opening up, finding some movement through the hips. Maybe even holding baby, maybe rocking baby for the first time. Back and forth. And then starting to stack yourself. Rib cage over the hips as much as you can find. You may bring your arms out to this cactus position, goddess arms as well. Think a little bit about those shoulder blades hugging together on your back. Sinking a little bit deeper. We'll inhale to reach up, straightening the legs, and then exhale to sink back down into this pose. Inhale to stretch up. Exhaling to sink down. Third time, inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Now coming back up, straightening the legs. A wide-legged forward fold from here. So you're welcome to use that bolster in front of you if you like. Maybe placing your hands on the bolster as you come down. Depending on your flexibility, you may just keep your hands on your thighs or your knees, or you may come all the way down to the floor. So up to you. If you'd like to drop your head down here, just relaxing, releasing through the back, that is an option. Still feeling that pressure, that solidity of the legs pressing down into the floor, feeling that right through the feet. Maybe engaging the legs slightly, a little bit more. Noticing again how it feels to take that weight out of your pelvis. Just stay for a couple more breaths. And then starting to walk our hands towards the front of the mat. We'll just pivot both of our feet. Bringing that back knee down again, shifting the bolster as we need, and once more coming back to that upward facing dog, supported, rolling open. Child's pose if you like it as an option. And then moving to downward facing dog from here. Fingers spread wide, toes spread wide, hips lifting up, arms and shoulders supporting your back and your body. Checking in with your breath. How is that exhale? How is that inhale? And how is baby? Now looking between your hands, this time we'll step our right foot forward. Of course, taking as much time as you need to do that. Starting once more in that high lunge. Just for a moment, lengthening out. And then slowly bringing yourself up, preparing for our triangle pose on the other side. Lining yourselves back foot about a 45, front foot, toes are pointing straight forward. Hands may start on the hips or on your belly, but starting to shoot those hips backwards as if you're tipping up and back with your tailbone. maybe supporting baby here or reaching out through that bottom right arm. And then when you're ready, hand may come down for some support, or if you'd like a little more of a strengthener, you're not using that hand for support, you're floating it. Top arm either staying on baby or reaching up towards the ceiling, or maybe staying on your hip. Reach the top of your head away from your tailbone. Connect your breath and reach through those arms in both directions. Press down through your feet. Feel connected. Feel your breath rolling through you. Keeping a softness around the face, trying not to make it too serious here. As we know, life is not so serious, especially when it comes to kids. And then slowly, let's bring ourselves back up. Turning our toes now on the angles out to the side, sinking into our goddess pose on the other side now, starting to stack the rib cage right over top of the hips. As much as you can, a little bit of a posterior tilt. So belly draws in, tailbone drops down. Not so easy when we've got the belly on us, but just doing your best for some support and then sinking down. If you like, again, that movement side to side, maybe trying to straighten one leg, then the other, as our legs and our hips are much warmer now than they were earlier. And then sinking here. If you'd like to keep your hands on your hips here, you can, or those goddess arms, or hands on belly, on baby. Working here a little more through the calves this time. Starting with one foot, whatever you choose, we're going to inhale, lift the heel, exhale to lower. For 2, for 3, 4, and 5. Other foot. Inhale, exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you can swing it, both heels for 1, 2, 3, and 5. Tricky on the balance. And ooh, quads, hello. We're going to slowly bring ourselves back up. Give yourself a good shake out as you need. Bringing those feet more into parallel now, or even toes angled in slightly. Moving into our forward fold again from here. So hands on your hips as you start to come forward. And then walking your hands down to whatever position feels best for you. If you need that block or whatever you've got for some support, that's a great place to be. You can also always do this one up against the wall with your hands on the wall, just reaching out. If you'd like to come deeper, I encourage you to really let your neck go, let it drop down. So taking all that weight out of your neck, releasing the back, just finding your breath. Another great place where you can always bend your knees a little bit, especially if you're feeling that through the back of the knees. Relaxing the shoulders. If at any time you are starting to check out, you're thinking of other things, just escaping what's going on, see if you can just place those thoughts in a little bubble. Let them float away for the time being. And just bring your awareness back to your breath, back to the present moment. Back to the sensations. Even if they're not desirable, they might be telling you something. Or they might not be so bad when you check in. Start to walk your hands towards that front foot. Just starting to gently pivot. And then from here, we're going to step our back foot forward. We're going to come into a low squat from here. You might just sink your hips down onto the bolster. That can feel pretty good. You may remove the bolster depending on how you're feeling. If you are quite far along in your pregnancy and you know that baby is breech, I encourage you not to go so deep in this one. You might stay higher here, as the lower squat, when you are farther in your pregnancy, will really encourage baby to start to engage and deepen into your pelvis. So if you are wanting to flip baby or hoping for something there, don't go quite as deep in this one later on until you know that you've gotten there. Feel that lengthening through your spine. Try to open up and just let it go through the face. An excellent practice for the hips, for the back, for everything that needs to open through pregnancy. If you can, trying to do this one every day if you can. Coming down to a seated position now on the mat. You might stay on your bolster, although we will do some stretches. I would recommend maybe a block or just on the mat, depending on how open you are and you're feeling. Pillow works great too. We'll start with a side bend. So we'll take that right leg out to the side, left heel in towards your midline. Reaching the right arm on the inside of the leg and then just turning belly, chest to the side here. Feeling that stretch as you start to reach down, maybe elbow drops on the inside of the leg. For some people, it feels better to turn your hand inwards and place it on the floor. If that's enough for you, stay there. If you'd like to go deeper, you might raise that top arm up overhead. You might even play around with just a few openings and closing here. Keeping that fluid movement, not having to be quite so rigid all the time, especially when we're pregnant. Knowing there's an extremely larger amount of water in our bodies at this time too. So just finding these fluid movements to help that move. And when you are ready, just starting to sink into it. Again, completely optional with the top arm. Soft. Take one more inhale here. Exhale to slowly bring yourself back up. And we'll go to do the other side. So when you're ready, reaching out. Taking a moment to set yourself up. Starting now with that left hand reaching on the inside of the leg. Turning your chest. Maybe staying here. Maybe going a little farther with that top arm or the bottom arm, depending on what feels good. Moving with your breath wherever you are, or just holding with your breath. Optional to look up, you may be looking downwards. You might have closed eyes. And when you're ready, just holding and breathing here into the armpit area, into the whole side of the body. Using each exhale to start to encourage your body to open, release, and relax a little bit more. One more inhale. Exhale to slowly bring yourself back up. Roll out through the shoulders. Taking a moment here, little windshield wiper of the knees, back and forth, side to side. So a lot of movement through the hips, quite beneficial to get those fluids flowing and those ligaments moving so that everything is able to open up when it needs to. And then coming to Baddha Konasana, or butterfly. Soles of the feet together in front of you. Keep the bolster handy. Give me a nice one in this pose. But starting with a flat back, sitting tall, and then exhale, just starting to gently fold forward. Now, depending where your belly is, how far along you are, You might use that bolster in front of you. You might just like to lay your head sideways and give it a hug. You might rest your forehead on it, just holding on here. You may have it lower down even, just resting, or stacking hands, or stacking some different pillows as well. So just finding the space that feels comfortable for you here. Letting go of anything you don't need. Using your exhale to encourage a release. And maybe bringing your awareness into the pelvic floor region, into the base of your pelvis, between your sit bones and your pubic bone. Trying to encourage this area to release more with each exhale. Feeling yourself pressing down towards the floor. Opening and widening. The jaw is relaxed, remembering that connection between the jaw, the throat, and the pelvic floor. If you need to wiggle the jaw a little bit, maybe swallow a couple times. And find a relaxed breath as well. Taking one more breath here. And then slowly, wherever you are, just starting to walk yourself up. Moving into a little bit of a heart opener from here. If you do have a bolster or a larger pillow, and some other pillows for that matter, or blocks, you can place those blocks underneath the bolster. So we're angling a little bit on the mat. You might even prop it up more, depending on what you have for some support. Now I'll show you an option if you don't have these things, and that's okay. But where we'll be going is into a heart opener. So you're just gently starting to lean back, laying your head back, and letting your arms float out to the side. You might have those butterfly legs again here, or you may keep the legs straight, or even bent with the knees together. So releasing there to open the chest and lie back. Now if that doesn't work for you, you don't have the bolster or the blocks, what you can do here is again find maybe those butterfly legs, and we'll just do a little more of an active heart opener. Lifting here, maybe letting your head drop back, but you won't stay as long. Where we're moving after this is Shavasana. So when you're done in this position where you're opening, I encourage you to find a side lying position. For those of you that are on the bolster in the heart melting pose with your arms out, you can stay there for Shavasana, or when you're ready, you can roll onto your side, maybe using some pillows or a blanket between your knees. You might hold on to the bolster if you have a bolster, or hold on to a pillow. You may have an arm under your head or a pillow under your head lying here. So just finding that comfortable position. You probably know what that is for your body as we sleep in it every night. And just breathing as our bodies fully melt and surrender. If you're happy in that heart melts pose, I encourage you to stay there. It can be an excellent opener for the chest, which we don't always get when we're pregnant. A lot of the weight is carrying us forward. If you're feeling like that's enough, or you weren't able to be in that pose, I encourage you to come into the side-lying Shavasana, taking the time to make yourself comfortable, to support belly. You might even put some blankets under your belly for some support. Allowing that relaxation response to start to kick on, to support your body and support your baby. Using each exhale as a way to sink deeper, to release anything that you don't need, that you might have been carrying with you for quite some time, or even just the past hour. Doing a body scan, starting with your head, relaxing the forehead and behind the eyes. Relaxing the throat and the jaw, the tongue. Noticing your shoulders, the upper back, your heart, your arms and your hands. Noticing your lungs, through your back, your low back, your belly, your uterus, baby. Inhaling and exhaling to release through the pelvis, the pelvic floor, your thighs, your calves, and your feet. Feel your whole body relaxing. If you find your mind wandering, just come back to your breath. Breathing for you, breathing for baby. Now slowly start to bring your awareness back to your body. Noticing the sounds around you. Noticing the air on your skin. Noticing your breath. Bringing your awareness into your feet, maybe starting to move your toes, your ankles. Awareness into your hands. You could run your thumb along your fingertips. Move your wrists. Maybe opening and closing the mouth and just loosening the jaw one more time. If you like a bit of a stretch, you could reach out, maybe just top arm, top leg, reaching, or you might even roll on to your back. Reach long here. And then as you're ready, from your side, helping yourself back up, pressing through that top arm, coming all the way up, back to a seated position that is comfortable for you. Placing your hands once more on your belly or your heart or your legs. Noticing the softness just in and around your body. Finding peace across your face. Feeling baby, relaxed and content. Maybe taking a moment just to send a little thank you to baby for sharing in your practice today. Maybe with hands on heart, just sending a little thank you to yourself for making time for your practice today. The power in me bows to the power in you. Namaste.